Darth Vader stands tall among the most legendary heroes in cinema history. There's no room for uncertainty. He exudes a certain vibe that we recognize. We know everything about this guy, right down to the sound of his breath. No matter where you are in the world, you can tell someone at least one fact about Darth Vader. Some ardent fans could go on and on about his life and career. Despite this, there are many misconceptions about Darth Vader. What are the specific aspects of his personality that people frequently misinterpret? How much do these new details change our perception of Darth Vader? Though Vader is such a well-known character, you'd think that most people would know everything there is to know about him. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Stay tuned as we go over 10 things everyone gets wrong about Darth Vader. Let's begin at number 10. His suit is designed to cause him pain. While there's no denying that Vader's iconic armored suit keeps him alive by essentially acting as a mobile life support system, it's a mistake to believe that all of its functions are primarily curative. In reality, the suit is also intended to inflict pain on Vader. The helmet inserts needles into Vader's face whenever he wears it to feed his brainwave activity back to the suit's central computer on the chest. In the extended universe, Palpatine is said to have designed the suit to be intentionally uncomfortable to keep Vader's rage at bay and to ensure they could maintain control over him while limiting his potential to rebel. Though some of this has technically been dropped from canon and is now considered Legends trivia, it remains true that Vader's suit isn't entirely restorative. It also causes him pain for various reasons. Next, at number 9, he shouldn't remember C-3PO. Fans frequently point out that Vader doesn't recognize C-3PO in the original trilogy, even though young Anakin was revealed to have built him in the prequels. You can blame this on George Lucas not having this revelation in mind when he created the original Star Wars films. But when you look at the facts, it makes perfect sense that Vader wouldn't pay C-3PO any attention at all. To begin with, C-3PO isn't the most distinctive-looking droid in the galaxy. We've seen hundreds of similar-looking droids throughout Star Wars media, so it's entirely plausible that Vader wouldn't give him much of a second thought. Even if that isn't enough, it's easy to accept that Anakin repressed large swaths of his past after transforming into Darth Vader so that C-3PO wouldn't exist in his mind. After all, as Vader revealed in the recent Obi-Wan Kenobi series, when he became Vader, he killed Anakin. Moving on at number 8, he's in the original trilogy way less than you remember. Vader casts such a long shadow, literally and metaphorically, over the original trilogy that's easy to assume he gets a lot of screen time in all 3 films. In reality, however, this is not the case. Though exact timings vary, it is generally accepted that Vader has approximately 45 minutes of screen time throughout the original trilogy, increasing slightly with each subsequent sequel. Surprisingly, despite being his first film, he appears for less than 12 minutes of the 2-hour movie. But like so many of the cinema's greatest villains, Darth Vader has such a commanding screen presence that it feels like he's in all of the movies. Like the Joker in The Dark Knight and Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs, Vader has a haunting, spectral quality that allows him to linger on the edge of a scene even when he isn't physically present. Following that, at number 7, he's not superior to Grand Moff Tarkin. Another common misconception about casual Star Wars fans is that Darth Vader is the Empire's main villain aside from the Emperor, who is only briefly mentioned in A New Hope. In reality, in the Empire's pecking order, Vader isn't even above Grand Moff Tarkin. After all, it is Tarkin who commands the Death Star, orders the destruction of Alderaan, and gives orders to Darth Vader. This is not to say that Tarkin is superior to Vader. Vader is technically outside the Imperial chain of command and reports to the Emperor, but it's reasonable to assume that he deferred to Tarkin on the Death Star, both to appease Palpatine and to respect Tarkin. After all, Tarkin's position must have commanded admiration even from someone as force-choke campy as Vader, right? In reality, they're separate but equal, and Vader knew that following Tarkin's orders on his ship was the right decision. Next, at number 6, he can survive without his helmet for a while. In Return of the Jedi, a dying Anakin asks Luke to help him remove his helmet, to which Luke responds, "But you'll die." Many fans have interpreted this as a proof that Vader can't go more than a few minutes without his helmet, but this is not true. Vader has been shown in several Star Wars comics to be able to last hours, if not days, with the help of the Force, using hatred alone to keep himself alive even when his helmet and suit were compromised. This isn't to say that Vader wouldn't want to be without his life support apparatus permanently, given the apparent strain of using the Force to stay alive. Still, he can survive without it for more than a few minutes, even in the most hostile circumstances. Moving on at number 5, the choke on your aspirations joke wasn't out of character. In Rogue One, one of the most divisive lines in recent Star Wars history occurs when Vader summons Orson Krennic to answer for the Death Star's attack on Jedha, promptly force chokes the hell out of him. As Vader departs, he cheekily tells Krennic, "Be sure not to choke on your aspirations, director," which was met with cringe-inducing outcry from large swaths of the fanbase who felt that Vader's cute, puny quip was out of character. But that's only partially correct. Consider some of Vader's wisecracks in the original trilogy, perhaps most notably telling Captain Needa, after force choking him to death, apology accepted. Plus, Vader isn't a robotic, inhuman entity, so what's the harm in cracking a dark joke or two? It's not like Anakin was a total stoic in the prequel trilogy, so it stands to reason that Vader would enjoy gallows humor. Following that, at number 4, his corpse shouldn't have disappeared. Another standard plot hole is Anakin's death. Specifically, why does his body not vanish when he dies? After all, we've seen Obi-Wan, Yoda, and later Luke Skywalker's bodies vanish into thin air after their deaths. So why not Anakin? Furthermore, why is his body still there for Luke to burn? Given that we see numerous Jedi die throughout the prequel trilogy whose bodies remain in place without disappearing, most notably Qui-Gon Jinn, the prequels adequately explain this. The vanishing act isn't something that all Jedi are born with. Obi-Wan and Yoda specifically learn how to become one with the Force from Qui-Gon. It is stated in the Legends continuity that Anakin's body did eventually vanish and that Luke ended up burning his empty armor on Endor. Even if we accept that, despite its dubious canonicity, those at the one with the Force do not necessarily vanish the moment they die. Next at number 3, James Earl Jones didn't voice him in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course, Vader appears throughout the recent Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series, with many praising the great James Earl Jones for reprising his vocal role as Vader with sure villainous relish. Jones did not play Darth Vader in the show, at least not in the traditional sense. Although we hear Jones' voice throughout the series, the lines are not delivered by the 91-year-old actor who recently announced his retirement from voicing Darth Vader. As a result, Ukrainian machine learning startup Respeecher created Vader's voice for Obi-Wan Kenobi, whose software used Jones' voice from existing Star Wars media to generate new dialogue. It's a testament to Respeecher's efforts that the result is almost seamless, and it's easy to see why so many people assumed that Jones, despite his age, was still playing the part, and in a manner entirely consistent with his decades-old portrayals no less. Moving on at number 2, the "I am your father" quote. Nothing separates a casual Star Wars fan from a dedicated one faster than getting Darth Vader's iconic "I am your father" line wrong. It's often repeated in pop culture that Vader tells his son, "Luke, I am your father," when Vader responds, "No, I am your father," in reference to Luke's belief from Obi-Wan that Vader murdered his father. Is this a nitpick? Perhaps. The context is similar, and mentioning Luke helps assure people that you're making a Star Wars reference in polite conversation, but given how many times we've all seen The Empire Strikes Back, we should know better. But no one is perfect, so if a friend repeats the slightly incorrect quote, don't be too hard on them. In any case, it's challenging to find a more misquoted movie one-liner or something that more people need to correct about Darth Vader. Finally, at number 1, Vader definitely kills Obi-Wan. Fans are divided about the precise nature of Obi-Wan's exit from the scene in New Hope, even though the climactic lightsaber duel between Vader and Obi-Wan is iconic. After all, Obi-Wan appears to give up fighting and vanishes into thin air when Vader swings his saber at him. The next time we see him, he's transformed into a Force ghost. Some fans believe Obi-Wan left the physical plane before Vader struck him, but this is not true. Given that Obi-Wan tells Vader moments earlier, "If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine," it appears that he was genuinely killed by Vader and then nearly instantly became one with the Force. It's a hair-splitting debate, but given that dying is required to become a Force ghost, it's safe to say Obi-Wan didn't evaporate into the ether. He was killed just as he had predicted. What are your thoughts on our video? Is there something you might want us to add on Darth Vader? Please tell us in the comment section below. Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching.